Hey everybody, it is Rick Troutman, aka the Trout, and I wanted to give you a brief intro about the video that you're about ready to watch with the wonderfully talented Mike Vandemark, who is the founder of the very good band called the Lexington Lab Band, which is what I think one of the best cover bands in America. And apparently I'm not the only one, because that video that I shot with Mike a couple years ago is one of the most popular videos that I have. So I reached out to him again and said, hey, let's get together and talk to me about an update, which he was kind enough to do. If you're a Lexington Lab Band person and like them, you're going to like this video, because Mike goes into details about how they pick the music they do, how they record it, all the camera angles and all that stuff. Even gets into the part about copyrights with all the other musicians that they deal with all the time. I think it's a great interview. I enjoyed it very much, and I hope you do too. So up next is Mike Vandemark, the guy that got Lexington Lab Band on the map, along with 92 other musicians right now. So, you've been doing this now. We're going on 12 years. I think it's been,
Yes.
you were celebrating your 10th anniversary when I saw. I just went back and looked at
Yeah.
it
So
today.
it's been 2 years since we talked.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
then I noticed that there was a video shot last year. I didn't see it, where they interviewed the people in your band, where they had
Yeah,
some
we
reporter came
did
in or
that.
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she's a good friend, and so she's an anchor in Nashville now. But I thought she just loves music and knows me, so I thought she'd be good for her to come in and just
Yeah.
ask us questions. So yeah.
So what, this is the question I'm sure you get asked all the time. Why don't you guys play out more? Is it just, I know you have so many great musicians and I know it is not easy to tour. I talk to touring people all the time. I know it's
hmm
logistically, it's difficult. It costs a lot of money.
hmm
But every time, like I told you in my email, you're one of the most popular. Every time, here's what it says: is this the best cover band in America? That's the headline, the thumbnail. Every one of them. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So okay.
Yeah.
So there's multiple reasons we don't
And I know you
tour.
do it once a year there in your town. You do once a
Yeah,
gig
yeah,
once a year.
yeah. So there's several reasons. The the biggest is the what people want, and I've got some evidence for this, but what people want is the diverse, well, is what they see. What they want is what they see. So but you know this, what they're seeing is a combination of over 90 people. Now, yes, there's about 20 they see a lot of, or they've seen a lot of, and there's, 70 that have done, one or two sessions, right? But they go, oh yeah, you need to come to my town. And then we've done a few small charity things
Hmm.
or private things. And we take 9 people and I build the set list off those 9 people that are there. And they're like, "Oh, you're not doing that song? Well, you're not doing my favorite song. Or that singer isn't with you, or why isn't that
Oh,
guitar player here?"
I never thought about that.
Or and they're not mad, but they aren't
Disappointed.
getting what they envisioned,
Yes.
right? So
I
so
understand. Yeah.
Randy, who books all that for us, I'm always, and he does a great job, but I'm always just reminding him, please tell them what they're getting. Like they're so
Yeah.
when we do that, and I've capped it at 4 a year, and it's not, we don't do public events at all. It's
You
all
do private gigs. Yeah.
either a
Right.
charity thing or it's like a corporate convention or something.
Right.
And just to keep our name out there and get but because I don't want to interfere with our annual show where people do get a lot of what they expect,
Yeah.
because we'll have 50 to 60 of those musicians on the stage at that show.
Yeah.
We do 30 songs, and but what I tell them is please tell them what they're getting, which is in this iteration, it's a 9 piece band, but no horns, and it's late 70s to mid 80s classic rock. There's no country, there's no R&B, there's no 90s,
Yeah.
so you're gonna get from Boston and Eagles to Van Halen, and that's it,
That's it.
right?
Yeah.
you might you'll get Fleetwood Mac, and you'll get Pat Benatar with the girls, and you'll get some of those
Yeah.
things. And we might go as soft as Billy Joel or Michael McDonald, but we're not going R&B or country, or we're not going to. And there's a lot of people who go, well, why aren't you doing Sailing? Well, because we don't have an orchestra with us.
Yeah.
We're not playing that. So that's the main reason, is people who would want to book us want to make an investment in bringing us places, because they got, we got travel and
Oh yeah, it's expensive.
it's expensive. And so they have an idea in their mind, and they'll always say, oh yeah, I totally get it. And then when you show up, they're like, well, I really wish you'd do this song. And it's never been a problem. Nobody's ever
No,
been
but I
mad.
understand.
And then the other side is, we could put a band together that's able to do a lot more of that,
Right.
and we can tour, but they'd all have to quit their jobs.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
Well, nobody's doing that. That's not who we are.
No,
Like,
no, you're not.
like this has never been, and this, I'm sure we talked about it in our first interview, but this is not about, this is not a for-profit endeavor.
No, I know that. Yeah.
This is a for music endeavor. And
Yeah.
so none of them would even do it. They'd all be like, oh, that's a great idea, but I'm not doing that.
Well, I can understand that, because you're not, you have so many different people, and I never thought about the logistical part of it. So the band that I really like, they kind of broke up after 10 years, the Analogs, that do nothing but Beatles tunes. But
Yeah.
that's different, because that's all they do.
Yeah. So if somebody hired them, guess what they're going to get?
They're going to
Beatles.
get Beatles song. Now,
Right.
there are
We're
songs there are times when they have violins and horns and stuff like that. It's a 12-piece band, but
Yeah.
they don't all go with them. But if you say, hey, can you do Mother Nature's Son? Well, sure. How about Day Tripper? Oh, sure. But in your situation, it's like, do Sailing. I can do the guitar part with the chorus on it, but that's all. It's not
Yeah,
gonna
it's just, and you're always going to not do the song that the one person thought they
No.
wanted to hear. And it's like, man, I'm sorry, we just didn't have time to work that up, or it doesn't fit this band that we've put together. These guitar players aren't the right people for that, or so.
I remember when I played all the time, and they'd come up to me and go, hey, I really like if you play this song. And I'd go, when did you get here? Like an hour, like 10 minutes ago? Really? Oh man, we played it right before you came in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you just missed
You
it.
just missed it. That last set had it in there. Oh, could you do it again? No, we only do it one. So it's like, I know exactly
Oh
what
yeah.
you mean.
So there's a lot to it, but the main is, it's just too. I've said this to several people. I like our name, but we're not really a band. We're a
No,
project.
you got to have a name. You got to have a name.
Yeah, but we're not the
No.
band. We're not we are the Lexington Lab Band, but we're a musical project, and it's just difficult for people to understand
Kind of like Alan Parsons. Alan Parsons, the great,
Yeah.
that's what he did.
Yeah, it is just
Because every time I
difficult.
bought an album, he'd have a different people on there.
Yeah. Now he might put a tour together, but it's one off.
It's a one-off, and that.
So
So you've got how many tunes have you done now? Have you thought about
man, I
it?
just counted it up, and it's just shy of 300.
Wow.
It's just under 300. It's like 286 or something like that. I'd have to look at my notes.
Yeah, that's okay. So close to 300.
Close to 300 for 12, going on 13
10
years.
years.
Um, we've done 11 live shows, and I literally just counted this up today. We've used 92 different people.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you started this, did you ever think it was going to be this big?
No, it wasn't.
I
No,
mean, you probably, but did you have an idea one day and say you talked to your friends, hey, come in and let's do some cover songs and record them?
yeah. So I had younger kids. I had gigged in some country and rock bands, and also had the church job. And so those three things make it difficult to be out till 1 or 2 in the morning on Friday and Saturday nights.
Right.
And I thought I really want to do music, but I don't really want to keep doing this, being out till 2 for $100. Like
No,
it's
no,
it the money wasn't. I've never really been driven by the money, but it also wasn't good enough to
yeah,
make that worth it. So
yeah.
um, I I stole the idea of doing like note for note copies from other bands, like in Nashville, and there actually was one here in town that would play a whole album, down. And I thought that's a great idea. And but who's going to really come out and listen to that? We don't have But then I saw live at Daryl's house, the Daryl Hall
Oh
show,
yeah.
and I thought, oh, they're doing video and it's pretty loose, but maybe we could do a twist on that. And so that's how that all kind of came together. And I just tapped four other guys that were really quality musicians that I thought would be willing to work hard. And we filmed four Doobie Brothers songs. And in 2013, it's almost like you don't remember this, but YouTube was there, but it wasn't. It was for cat
It's not like
videos.
it is now.
It
No.
was for cat videos and
Yeah.
funny stuff. And
Yeah.
there were some playthroughs, guitar playthroughs, tutorials, things like that. Here, this is how you play this song.
Yeah.
And so we didn't even think enough. We made two kind of errors, but we didn't understand, and it wasn't even totally developed. We didn't understand that if you do a rhythm to your releases, it's going to grow. So we put all four songs out at the same time. We
Well, you
just want
didn't
to
know.
we just
You
want to get them
did.
on the internet, right? Like just put them up on the internet.
Yeah.
So
You just want to
we
put.
had no
Sure.
idea.
No.
And we also put them on the guitar player's personal YouTube page because he had one and none of us had one. And he done some tutorials and was, I mean, popular at the time, it wasn't super popular, but popular enough.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we got like 2,000 views on each of those videos, and we thought, oh, this is incredible, 2,000 views. Well, I mean, we get 2,000 views in, 20 minutes now, continue.
Well. Yeah.
So, so we didn't know. We had no idea. And we just thought, oh, it worked. Man, people really like that. Our friends called us and said, "Man, you guys sounded great." And we're like, "Oh, let's do it again. Let's do it again and do it again and do it again and do it again."
And
And
then of course you get better at what you're doing.
yeah, yeah, and it didn't take off till everybody was at home locked up for
Yeah.
the
I
pandemic. It
get
didn't
it.
really.
COVID.
Yeah, so the numbers pre-COVID was like 1.5 million views.
Right.
So from 2013 to 2020, it was less than 2 million views total. So
Yeah.
you're talking almost 7 years. And now we're at 100 and I don't know, 103 million or
Yeah.
something. We're over 100 million, so we grew like 98% of our views have been in the last 4 years.
For me, if I'm talking to a famous artist, I'm not going to ask them, "Hey, would you go to your record label and ask them?" No, I don't care.
And
Because
sometimes they don't even have the ability to do that because they don't own the publishing.
well, that's true too.
Yeah, so
Especially with the
sometimes they
song,
don't have.
especially the catalog that you've done, you never know who owns
Well,
it.
so there's YouTube, and the publishers are they have a sweetheart deal for the most part. So let's do this. Let's set aside the Eagles and Bryan Adams. Okay,
And I know why.
let's just set them aside
Yeah.
because they're the only two that we've ever not been able to
They,
get over the hurdle.
yeah,
Okay,
they're not going to do it.
yeah, but set them aside.
Yeah.
YouTube and the publishers, and this is by the publishers, they agree to it because the publishers have the legal authority over the copyright.
Right.
They have said to YouTube, you can allow this stuff to go up, and YouTube's created a digital algorithm that as soon as you put a video up, it scans the video
Yeah.
and it tells YouTube, hey, they're using a recording that already exists, or they're using a recording that sounds similar enough to the original that we're going to call it a cover. So that's generally how we get tagged. It's you're using the master recording, which we're not,
No.
or so it's incorrect,
Yes.
or you're using the song's melody, which is correct.
That's it. Yep.
And 90% of the time, let's go with and if this is too deep, it's fine, but
No, 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 no. I want to hear.
it would be great for cover bands to understand this if they don't. 90% of the time, we get tagged as this is the melody. You're using the melody. Or, well, no, let's say maybe it's probably less than that. We actually get tagged a lot as the master recording, which we'll get to in a minute. But when we get tagged as a cover song,
Right.
90% of the time, they just let it go up. Well, they always let it go up. But they'll say, we're going to share the revenue with you.
I get that
Now,
one.
now,
Yep.
they don't ever tell you what that split is.
No, they don't. They just says you're sharing the revenue. I guess I
Yeah.
get those.
And
Yeah.
it's peanuts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's peanuts. So you're not, if you're a cover band, you're not doing YouTube to make a living.
No. They're the worst paying of everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
They're even worse than
guess if
Spotify and all that.
there's some other groups that crank it out a lot more than us, and maybe they're
Yes.
able to get it. But generally, or sometimes they just go, you're not able to monetize this, but it's still up. Never
Yeah.
gets. Now, what's great for us is sometimes we get, man, I hope this doesn't get, it's fine.
No, I
Sometimes
can
we
cut
get,
it out. That's okay.
no, 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 you can leave it in. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Sometimes we get labeled as using the master recording. Like, like you said, like if you interviewed, give me a band that you've interviewed that has original music, right? Or whatever. It's
Well, Walter Trout, Eric Johnson. Eric
okay. So
Johnson.
you've interviewed Eric Johnson.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let's say we did Eric Johnson. We did Cliffs of Dover.
Yeah.
So we put Cliffs of Dover up, and it says you've used Eric Johnson's recording of Cliffs of Dover off of what was that album called?
Viacom or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it says you're using that. And we didn't. We actually played it. But
You
let's
do
say
it,
you
yes.
put it up. Let's say you're interviewing him and you just put a clip of it up. That would be
Yes.
accurate. It
Yes.
would accurately say, "Hey, you've used this.
Yes.
We're not going to allow you to do it, or we're going to allow you to do it, but you can't make money." Or the publishers have made deals with YouTube, and they're all individual, that circumvent the actual law. They basically said, "Well, right? Well, they do. They say, hey, we're not gonna hold you to copyright law. We're gonna allow you to put that up because we want the revenue.
Yeah, that's right.
Publisher wants revenue." So for us, let's say we do that. We did that song, and I don't think this happened, but let's say it came back as you've used Eric Johnson's master recording of Cliffs of Dover.
Right.
Well, that's not true. And in good faith, you can dispute that.
Oh yeah.
And there's now, so there's just a simple three-part question.
I've seen it. I've
Did you
seen it.
create this? And you
Yeah.
sign your name, and you think, oh no, if they could ban my account.
It's a
But I-
it's a
but I had-
copyright strike. Yeah, you get
But I
3
had been
years.
given really good advice to say, if it's true, go ahead and dispute it, which it is. And all I do is write a little paragraph that says, you've mistakenly claimed this as the original master recording. We created all of the audio in this video from scratch. Please release this incorrect claim. That's all I say.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, and this is like 80% successful. Where it's not is with the Eagles and Brian
No,
Adams.
no, I understand
They
that.
don't care if it's the master recording or not. Even if it gets claimed as a cover, they take it down.
They take it down.
But they have 30 days to respond.
Yeah.
And 8 times out of 10,
They don't
no
respond.
response. And it's released, and they don't even claim it as a cover, right? They don't even, they just, nobody responds.
I think what's funny to
Now-
me is I get them like 6 months later. All of a sudden, something
That's
shows
a
up.
manual review. So
Yeah,
that's
and all of a
somebody
sudden, I'm
on-
getting something. Hey, by the way, you're sharing the revenue, and I'm going like,
Yeah, that's
That
a
was like-
manual
that was
review.
last
That's
year.
somebody who, a lawyer somewhere
Yeah,
who's paid
yeah.
by their publisher to look for them.
yeah,
But what I was going to say is the power that they hold, and I'm fine with it, is they actually can come back and just say, we don't agree.
Well, it's their game. It's their ball. Yeah.
Because they've got to deal with YouTube that says, will allow this, even though it's really not legal.
Yeah.
So and what I was told was, when they come back and say your dispute has been rejected, let it go.
Yeah. I've had a few of those. I just
Don't
let it go.
Yeah, don't escalate it, because when you escalate it is when they can start giving you strikes, and so they can just come back and say, well, you say you made that recording, but we disagree, so it's still ours. So it's
Well, but
it's
you
a
know, the
cost.
bottom line is nobody, it has, when do you think that anybody actually listens to it? It's all computers. You know, I don't know whether if you dispute
Yeah.
and
It,
you know, most of the time I've been following the manager, Stephen Bishop,
okay.
young lady that, and she does manages a lot of people. She used to.
Hmm.
And she'll say, I get calls from people that, hey, did you know my song is being, they used it for a year before I knew about it? I mean, because they don't know about it.
Right.
And oh, by the way, side note, Eric Johnson, I asked him, I'd heard stories that it took him 5 minutes to write Cliffs of Dover.
Hmm.
And he said, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So we need, a side note, we need to talk about that song. Well, let's come back to that song here
Okay.
in a minute.
All right.
But finishing up on this YouTube thing,
Right.
um, they what I don't, and this is all I'm going to say about it. But what I don't understand about the Eagles and Bryan Adams, and man, Bryan Adams was, our video was up for like 15 minutes,
Oh,
and it
really?
was,
And that was it? Wow.
oh yeah. And the Eagles, I could keep them up for about a year before they would figure it out. And then they would hit me with one, and I'd take the other four down. And then a little later, I'd put one back up for a while and see. And then they'd hit it again, you know. But no, Brian Adams hated it. But what I don't understand about that is,
I don't understand it either.
they could leave it up, take 100% of the ad money,
Yep.
and have their songs. It's basically free advertising for
I don't get it either.
their incredible songs, especially with a band like us, who's not like trying to put a twist on it to
No, you're going to play it. No, you're going to play it exactly the way it
make
was
it
done.
our own. We're not
No,
even saying we're going to make it better.
no,
We're
no.
literally just playing their songs the way they were intended,
I don't
out of
understand that. You
out of
know, it's,
respect. And if they were sitting in the room, I would just go, I don't
and I
understand.
bet you a dollar. Now, this goes back to there's a video and you can find it on the David Letterman show. And this was several years ago because obviously I've been doing it for a while. And they started. David was talking to what's the band leader I can see on the bullet guy,
Yeah, Paul Schaefer.
Paul. And he said, "Hey, why don't you do that?" And he goes, "Oh, no, 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 we can't. He can't do that."
Yeah,
He
it's the
said,
Eagles.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was an Eagles
yeah,
song. And he said,
yeah.
"No, no, no, no." He says, "Well, find out how much it cost us to do that." So they go to break and they come back and they said he wanted to do Life in a Fast Lane, right?
Huh?
And he says, "How much is it going to cost us to play that?" I mean, just the intro or whatever it goes. And he goes, Paul goes, "Well, take a guess." I don't know, 50,000. It's like $500,000.
Yeah,
And he goes, "What?" And
yeah,
so
yeah.
they had somebody take the same notes and change them around of life is in a fast lane, so it sounded like life in a different fast lane.
Yeah. No, I know.
Heard
It doesn't make any. It's
well,
so
and the guy that supposedly
short-sighted.
it's Hensley is the one that hires all these people that have nothing but do, but they actually sit around and listen to it. And I'm
I
like,
know.
why do you care? How much
It's
more
so
money do you need? I mean, come on,
well.
dude.
You don't honestly. What's funny is he makes less money because of that decision.
What?
Like he could make 100% of the profits on a video with ads on it with his music if he wants to. But
And I'm
instead
like,
he'd
I'm like
rather
you. Who cares? I mean,
instead
it's
he'd rather be taken down. And I'm like, I just think that's so short-sighted, because we're introducing some of those songs to people who have never heard it before.
because you mentioned Daryl's house.
Yeah.
Now, you and I both know that the video, and you guys do the same thing. There's a lot. Well, you don't have a lot of you don't have conversation on yours. You just go right to the song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's cut live, but then you mix it. I mean,
Yes.
because they're standing around talking, and they're, hey, you thought, yeah, okay, you do the harmony on, yeah, okay, okay, and then they kick it in. You're like, okay, this has been this is
Agreed.
post, this has been mixed. This doesn't sound like this in that room.
Yeah.
You guys have to do the same thing. So, what does that take when you come in and you go, okay, we've worked on this? So I assume, because I remember seeing your bass player say, and it was funny what he said when he was interviewed last year, when he was talking about playing bass, and how do you do? And he said something that's actually reminds me of myself when you play. And he said, you know, really, I only pay attention to what I do. I don't pay attention. I mean, I'm so focused on what I'm playing that I don't pay, I know what's going on, but I don't pay attention to after we hear it. So when you guys have a song, so let's say I come to you and I go, we're going to talk about Cliffs of Dover. And I say, hey, can you find somebody who can play Cliffs of Dover? Then you find that person, then do you give, how does it work from that point on to
Okay.
find the
So
people
how it
that
works
does it?
is we'll plan a session. So we'll plan typically a session is 3 or 4 songs, okay, in one night
Okay,
because I don't want to. We want to maximize people's time, and
yep,
so we'll film, so if we start from the beginning, we'll put a band together, and then based on the singer or maybe lead guitar player, or if I got a fiddle or something, we'll create a set list around that band. Okay, so it might be. So we did a set in November that included a guy named Charlie Crow. He was with Brooks and Dunn for 20 years, and Reba and Miranda Lambert, but he's from
yeah,
Lexington. So
okay.
he agreed to come out and play with us, but
Oh,
he
cool.
didn't really want to do country. He wanted to do more like classic rock. We're like, great. So we did a Bon Jovi tune, we did Edgar Winter, and we did Styx. I think those were the 3 we did with him.
Yeah.
Okay. So we put a set together, and then that's usually put out to the musicians with some notes on maybe some assignments, things that really dial in on. Hey, you're playing this guitar part, or you're playing this keys part, babe, pay attention to this. They usually have about 4 to 5 weeks.
So at that time, their job, let's talk about Edgar Winter. You did
Free,
Frankenstein, didn't it? Wouldn't you
we
do
did free ride.
Frankenstein? Oh,
We
we
did
did
free ride.
Free Ride. Okay. I know this song very well. I remember it very. Dun, 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 dun. But
Hmm.
somebody has to sit down and figure out how do I make my guitar sound like
That's them. Yeah,
Derringer's song, Derringer,
that's on.
Derringer.
That's on them.
That's on the player to come
Yeah.
back and say because
I'll say, hey, you're gonna play the guitar that's in the right channel and this lead at this moment and blah blah blah, and you're gonna play the distorted guitar over here and these things, and they kind of know what they're supposed to learn, and then their job is to dial in their sounds and learn every note before they show up. So they'll usually have a month to do that.
and they're so good that they know how to do that, obviously, or get as
Yeah,
close as
and
they humanly can.
yeah, and of course, in post, and we'll get to this point, but in post, I fix things that I can fix.
Sure.
If it's too clean, I can add some stuff, or it's hard to take distortion away or delay away, but
Yeah.
I generally coach, and most of them know this. I coach them to go less on the effects, even if it's part of the song, than
You do
more
it post.
because it's always hard to take things away more than it is to add them. So they have about a month, and then we show up, and this has changed over the years, but this is how we do it now. We show up, we do Monday night, around once a month, every 5 or 6 weeks, we'll do one. And the band comes at 6, and the band rehearses from 6 to 8, those 3 to 4 songs. And then the camera crew shows up. We break at 8 o'clock. We, get something to drink, maybe have a sandwich or whatever if people haven't had dinner. Excuse me. While the camera crew kind of gets set. And then we play each song with a camera crew 3 times so that we have 3 different angles on every player, and I have 3 passes of audio of every song.
Uh,
Then we shut her down for the night, and everybody goes home, and I put all the footage on my computer, and I go home, and then at some point I come back in and I open those files up, and I create a mix of that song, so a free ride, let's say free ride. I do an audio mix of it. I use all three passes to create the best version we have.
Yeah.
So, what I mean by that is, and if I get too detailed, it's fine. You can cut
No,
this.
no.
So, I usually start with a middle take on the drums, and that's because of video. Usually, the middle take is kind of the tight shot. So, I know that if I really need to see something on the drums, if I really got to have it, I want it to line up with the middle take. So I usually take the middle take of the drums, and if he's got no issues, that's the take you hear. But if there's a fill or he went to the ride in the wrong place or did something weird, so if I base it on take two, but we get to the bridge and he was supposed to go to the ride cymbal and he stayed on the hat, I'll go to take three and I'll use take three for the bridge. And then I'll come back,
But
so I do
here's
that with the
interesting.
drum.
It's that close that you can do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, part of it is we do everything to a click track.
I was going to say you had to be doing a click track.
Yeah. And for the most part, that works without any issues. There are some songs that float so much that you have to either create a custom click track or you have to kind of straighten it out and you kind of lose the soul of the song. But yes, everything's to a click so that all three takes can line up. Okay. So then I'll do that with the drums and I'll do it with the bass and then I'll do it like with the rhythm guitar. And then I'll get a mix done and I will, to about 80%. Then I'll go over to the video side and I'll throw that 80% done mix into there and then I'll cut video to it.
Yeah.
Again, all three takes.
How many cameras do you shoot? 3?
No. It's one camera to a player typically.
So you had that many. Okay, so you have a lot.
We had 8. We had 8 last week.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I have 3 angles of 8 cameras. So we have 24 images to choose from at any time. So then I'll cut a video together with all the different angles, and that's actually the quickest part because it's kind of point and click and the way Final Cut works, it's great for multicam. But then I'll look at it and listen to it and go, typically there's not much, but go, oh, let's say during a guitar solo, this is the best audio, but man, that was the best video, but they don't actually, like, I'm hearing take 1, but I'm seeing take 3, and there's one little thing that he messed up on the video.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to go and go, well, I got to take 2. You only really ever see that like with vocal cutoffs or some guitar stuff, or if a drummer hits a cymbal or not, wrong. So what you see at and then I take it back, I take that video and I take it back into the audio side and I tweak some things based on what I'm seeing and hearing. So it, because sometimes things jump out when you see it differently or you see something and you don't really hear it and you're like, man, I really need to hear that. So what you see at the end is a combination of all 3 takes of video and audio. So we get a little bit of criticism about this. People say we're not honest, but I'll say it. I've said it in every interview. I've said it in every interview. You are not seeing a one-take live video performance. But what you are seeing was recorded that night
And live.
with each other all playing 3 times put together. So we are not recording it, mixing it, and then putting a music video to it. No. You're physically seeing, even if you're hearing take 3, you're physically seeing the bass player play, even if you're seeing take 1. He's playing. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Does that make sense, though?
I'm just thinking about all the work you put into it.
No, it's great though. So, but what's awesome about it is people will get in an argument and say, that's live, it's live, it's live. And other people will be like, it's not live, it's not live, it's not live. And the reason people think it's live is because you can tell when someone's playing back to a track. They physically don't look like they're authentic, right?
They don't.
But why it works with us is because they're physically playing. There's an exertion of physical musicality.
Yep. Yep.
even if you're hearing a different take. And it really does trick people to think that's what I'm seeing and hearing. So I like to tell people it's all live,
Yeah.
but it's pieced together to make the best product. And we are not going to apologize for that, because
You
what we
shouldn't.
want to do is
No.
we want to put out a product that you want to listen to and
Yeah.
watch.
Well,
It,
and to
so,
me, it shows me several things. First, everybody involved loves music.
mhm.
Number two, you have found, what'd you say, 90 plus people now,
92, yeah.
92 that are exceptionally good artists that probably could go out and do their own thing, but don't.
Yeah.
Number three, they've dedicated themselves. They're not making any money off this except to say, oh, was that you in that? Yeah, that's me. I'm singing that part right there. And to garner millions of people, millions of views of stuff. I mean, I have to admit, I've watched some of your videos more than once because I'm looking for stuff. Okay, I know what's coming up next. Oh, yep, they got it. You know, because
Yeah.
I know the song so well. You know, it's like that. And but to me, what I don't think people realize how much goes into it to make it look the way it is. And I'm kind of surprised, not really, I guess, that people have looked at it so closely and go, well, wait a minute, that one note that he played that wasn't the same as, you know, and I don't pay that much attention to it.
Well, oddly, it it generally works out really well, where I probably even the person mixing it and editing the video couldn't tell you, am I seeing the same take as I'm hearing?
Yeah.
It because we're a note for note vision for our group, their hands are really close to playing it exactly the same
Oh, I'm
every time.
sure. Yeah.
So again, it's usually like a vocal cutoff, or like a rhythm on the guitar where they just fumble just a slight rhythm, but their hands are always in the right spot,
Right.
or a cymbal in the wrong spot where you see them hit it, but you
Yeah.
don't hear it
Yeah. Because you
because he's
can't
just,
do much with cymbals because they're hard to
well,
work
because
with.
he just forgot that he
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to hit a cymbal there, whatever. Um, and so even the person who has edited it, I would have a hard time. I'd probably be wrong half the time going, that's the take you're hearing and seeing, they're the same or they're not the same. What people get wrong, and I'm not going to defend it, it's fine. We're not going to be defensive about it, is they'll say, well, they recorded that earlier and then played back to it. That's just not true.
You have to go to a song and try to figure out what's going on. Now, you know, in other words, you've got to listen to it, and you don't listen to it like most people do. You hear things like, oh, wait a minute, was that? Did they just have a triangle in there for like two beats? You know, because people like me go, where's that triangle? I didn't know it wasn't in there because people like me are goofy about stuff like that. So you have to take it apart. And the one thing I've never understood, this is if I had Rick Beato on here to ask him, Rick, how do you get the original so you can break down the tracks so you can hit a track? I mean, obviously he goes to him and said, I need somewhere along the line they have to,
No, there's
is
kind
there
of a,
software to do that?
well, there is now. There wasn't when he started, but there's better software out now to do it.
That's just
But
phenomenal.
but there was kind of I'd say dark web, but
Yeah.
we're able to get a hold of a lot of those too through a couple guys who have just built up databases of
Oh,
them, and
wow.
they don't let a lot of people know it. And I actually I get a hold of them kind of through a third party. Like I don't even have contact info for these
Yeah,
guys.
I got you. I got you. Yeah.
Somebody in California's got a repository of them, and if you know the right person,
You can find it.
you can find it if you need it. But
Yeah,
yeah.
because I mean, I'm going like, I sit there and listen to him and I go, okay, where did he get this original track? Because here's the other thing is you know this because you're a song person, producer, engineer. Sometimes when you hear them spread out, you're like, well, that's not that great by itself. Well,
Oh
no.
no, there's a lot of mistakes and
Yeah, and
bad
you're like, you
code.
know, it's like, and
Oh, yeah.
and you put it all together. I remember listening to John Anderson that used to sing with Yes,
Mhm.
talking about how they used to take course, they did everything 24 track, analog, that their engineer would take tape and cut it and stick it on the wall, and then they tape them together. And he said, it's like how it worked out, and it was amazing how. I mean, now it's all blended. It's all software and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
some of those isolated tracks, you're like, that's the part? Or like, wow, he wasn't very good. Like you'll hear like a bassist and you're like, wow, but you put it in the mix and it works, right? And
That's the
sometimes it's the looseness that makes it work.
you become so well known. How many people contact you? Go, can I play in your band?
Um, it's it's not overwhelming,
Really?
but it does happen.
Imagine.
Yeah, it does happen. Um, I have a really hard. It's funny. It's funny. My friends watch this. They'll be like, "No, you're actually pretty direct." I'm a direct person, but I have a really hard time like telling people no with that because the heartbeat behind it is to get people involved.
Sure.
It's really supposed to be Central Kentucky people,
Yeah.
like
Obviously, yeah.
there's a few that we've brought in because of friends or that uh that that haven't grown up here, but yeah, I mean, it's not a ton. And usually those people, I mean this kindly, they don't understand, they're not self-aware of their ability level because I'll ask for video or
I like
audio.
that. That's a great way of saying
No,
it.
they're just not, and it's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, all of us musicians have a hard time accepting what our ceiling is, I think. They think, oh man, I can play that. And they can to about 80%, but not 100%, but they don't understand that 20% gap. So usually when I ask for video or audio, I don't get a whole lot back. Like it's like, oh, you actually want me to show you I can play? And
Oh
then
no,
sometimes,
fly up here to Lexington and we'll just put you in the
yeah,
band.
and
Okay, yeah.
sometimes they send video in, and I'm able to. That's where I am. I it's the right thing to do. I'm very direct, and I say, well, here's the reasons this won't work, or here's what I hear in your playing that doesn't that doesn't match what we do, or that sort of thing. But yeah, there's a ceiling, and I think we all struggle with it. That's one of the hard parts of our project. Um, if you watched those four kind of videos we did on our 10th anniversary, you see it. This is not just words. There's little to no competition or ego in the
Oh,
90s.
I know that by seeing the band.
Yeah. So, which is crazy because musicians
Trust
love
me.
to
I've been
be,
in enough. I know what it's like. Yep.
I
Yep.
know, but I think when people get involved, um, you know, uh, everyone rises with the tide. Like you come in and you're around six or seven other musicians who are encouraging each other, and it's not you can't do it, or you just stick out. Like you're in a sea of blue and you're orange. It's like that doesn't work here. So
Yeah.
so, but what I will say is I do know it's hard for all of us, and I've had conversations with some really good friends and great musicians in town where they just wish they would have been able to play on that Led Zeppelin song
Hmm.
because it's their favorite.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for us to accept it might be my favorite song, but I might not be the right guy to play it.
Yeah. And
Makes
I
sense?
remember you
You
told
know, you know,
me, yeah,
even if you can kind of play it,
it's not the
this
same.
isn't a project where you kind of play it. This is a project where you play it like Jimmy Page, like 85%, or you can't do it. So but it's hard, they'll be like, "Oh man, Foreigner's my favorite band," and I just golly, it really bothered me that I didn't get to play on the Foreigner. And I'm like, "Well, that's fine, but it's not it just wouldn't have been the right choice,
Well,
and,
you told me, you said, you're not going to come up and play the Eagles song if you're a Jimi Hendrix fan. It's not going to work. And I understand that because I go back to Cliffs of Dover. There's very few people that can play that song. And I
yeah,
mean, they can pass it, but there's very few people that can actually get to it because it's not an easy song to play. I mean, and gal
Yes.
out
Now,
of
that's a great example because, and no one did this, but I can think of two or three guys that could almost play that may have really wanted the opportunity to do it.
right.
But Roger, who did it, is the only guy I knew 100% that would be able to play it. I'm very comfortable being the leader or being in charge or being the guy that's responsible. I'm great with that. I'm also very comfortable being in a band where I know someone else is in charge. But I am not going to be in a band where nobody's in charge.
No,
I cannot stand it. I cannot stand
doesn't
showing up
work.
at rehearsal and there's no plan and it's a democracy and all that. I don't have to be in charge, but if nobody's in charge, I'm going to quickly try to be in charge
Yeah.
because it drives me crazy. And so I actually I've left a couple bands with a lot of friends in them and kindly, but just been like, there's just nobody that really wants to
No.
take control, and I don't have the time to take control, and you might not even want me to take control. So I'm just going to give my seat to somebody else because it's too frustrating to me. People want a leader, whether they say it or not. They want to know
They
what's
want
expected.
somebody.
I
What do
wanted,
you have coming up?
well, I wanted to. Let's see, what do we have coming up? I don't know what the next release is going to be, but we've got still one 80s like metal song, a song called Round and Round that's in the
Oh,
can.
I know that song.
It's
I don't know who
great.
it, I forgot who did it, but
It's Rat, but
is that right?
yeah, and then we've got a 90s tune by Delamitri called Roll to Me. That's gonna be great. And then we just filmed the other night, and we did Richard Marx and Dan Hartman, who actually wrote
Which
Free Ride,
Richard Marx song did you do?
Endless Summer Nights,
Oh, okay.
and then Mandolin Rain by Bruce Hornsby. We filmed that.
That's such a cool tune.
Yeah, we've got a session coming up where we're going to do some more Skinnerd and Fogelberg, and then we have a session in June that's going to be like Bon Jovi and um, The Flame, Cheap Trick. We got quite a few things. But I wanted to go real quick. I want to go back to because you're a Texas guy, and you may know this story, so you can tell me if you already know about all this. But the reason we did Cliffs of Dover is because Tommy Taylor, the drummer
I know
on that
Tommy.
video, you know Tommy?
I
Yeah.
interviewed him.
Well, Tommy is on that video.
I know.
Yeah, and he saw our Ride Like the Wind video and went nuts over Ryan's
Because he
drumming.
played with Christopher
Because
Cross.
he played on that record. I mean,
I
that's
know.
him. That's him. And he was like, I've got to meet you guys. He paid his own way to come up here to our show. He played Ride Like the Wind with us. And he's like, can I come back next year? And I said, yeah, you can come back next year. Well, he played Ride Like the Wind with us, but we did Cliffs of Dover because he was the original
He was
drummer
the
on that.
drummer on that song, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So the whole reason we did that was because Tommy was the guy. And then he wanted to come back the next year. And I said, well, that's great. Come back next year, but actually do a video with us. So we did Sailing, and it's been huge. And that's been one of the coolest things because, and I'm not stealing his thunder or words or whatever, but he had not had an opportunity to play those Christopher Cross songs with that level of professionalism in 30 years.
Yeah.
And it just made so much of an impression on him to be allowed to re-enter those songs with a group of people who wanted to recreate them the way that he knew them, right? Like it it encouraged us because honestly, I think we kind of gave him a second life with it. When we kicked into Ride Like the Wind in rehearsal, and let me tell you, Ryan is an amazing drummer and played his butt off on our video, and it's great. But everybody just, when we kicked into it and Tommy kicked in, everybody kind of turned around and looked and went, that's how it's supposed to feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was different. And they were playing the same, the same
Something
thing,
there's
but
yeah,
his feel, and it went like that dude. Of course he knows the song, but
yeah.
you just everybody looked around and went, That's how you.
Isn't that amazing? That
I mean,
it's almost.
I'm getting chills thinking about it now.
Yeah,
It was
I can
a physical
imagine.
reaction on stage in the rehearsal.
Yeah,